feel like when I'm wearing something like without much colour, I look dead. Do I look really bland? How do I fix this? Hey everyone, it's Kat and I'm back today to play with some newish makeup and products that I've picked up recently. I was trying to think of what to film today. And the first thing that came to my mind was like reviewing this blush pack. I did do a TikTok breakdown of like the cost, and I did swatches, and I wanted to do a demo and show you how it applies. But then I thought that's kind of boring. And then yesterday in Priceline sales, I picked up a cheap mascara and a cheap foundation. So I thought I'll demonstrate some of the new products that I've purchased recently, let you know what I think about them. Some of them will be first impressions, others will be things that I have been playing with for a couple of weeks and I can let you know my thoughts. All right, let's start with my new foundation that I picked up yesterday. So this is the Revlon Photo Ready Candid Glow. Now it says new on the packet, but it's been out for a little while. I mainly picked this up because I really like Revlon foundations. They usually wear really well on me. And I have had issues lately with foundations wearing off funny. So of course I've got oily combination skin, so my T-zone does get, especially my chin around my nose, gets quite oily, but the rest of my face has been really dehydrated. So if I set something too much and it's too sort of matte and powdery, it sort of flakes off and dries off like my forehead and my cheeks. But then if something is too sort of emollient and hydrating, it just wears off on around my nose and my chin. So I sort of thought a glowy, sort of more medium coverage foundation with the Revlon ability to sort of stay, I was hoping it was going to be good, and it was 50% off. So this was like $13.50 or something. And I've had, my skin really generally likes Revlon foundation. So I'm looking for a foundation that I can wear every single day, that isn't too much hassle. It's not too hard to apply. It's not like too cakey, it's too heavy looking. This one has blended in probably too easily where it's, where have you gone? Let's try one more pump. I am using a brush, so this is sort of like a kabuki style brush, but let's see if a little, I just want a little bit of my redness covered and a little bit of my imperfections covered. I don't need it to be like a mask. My shade is 240, which was Natural Beige, which is a color that I've used across the range for multiple years, and it does work quite well. It is a pink tone one, so you can see it looks a little bit cool tone. So I think it looks worse on camera, to be honest, but that dewiness is pretty. Like if you have really dry skin, you will love that. It does feel very hydrated. I'm going to just go in with my Project Pan concealer, which is my Kat Von D one, simply because this is not enough coverage for around my eyes, and just a little bit around my nose, and I know my chin's going to wear off, so I tend to like doing a little bit more coverage in those areas. But do I powder this or not? I've just got my Nikkia Joy Cosmetics loose powder, and I'm just going to set my concealer and sort of leave the cheeks and the forehead a little bit. I feel like Revlon's pretty good at having sort of setting foundation, but my concealer just, it can migrate, it can do its own thing, and it really needs to be set. But there's still a bit of glow and moisture from that foundation, you can see like around here, and it's also good to keep it like that for the cheek products I'm going to talk about. So this is the first Christmas release that I bought this year. So it's the Rare Beauty Blush and Glow. It's a liquid cheek and highlighter pack. Now, what I liked about this was it's a nice sort of sampling. You get some sort of cooler tone products, warmer tone products. And I wanted to try this formula for the longest time because I've heard so many great things about their blush in particular. And I just wasn't really committed to one shade. They're quite large. Apparently they're very pigmented. They're going to last a long time. I was like, I don't know if I want to spend the money on one full size. I'd actually prefer to try a bit of a sampling. Now, one thing I would have liked, like these are the sort of dewier blushes, which are totally fine. They give a really pretty effect, but they do have a dewy range and also a matte range. I would have loved to have seen one of each because from me trying these, they look really nice, but they stay like a bit glossy on the cheeks. They feel like a bit of a balm, and throughout the day it breaks down my makeup and isn't there by the end of the day. So longevity on these sort of more dewier finishes, just not there for me. And buying this pack has made me realize that I actually don't want the full size. So I'm still curious about the matte. So that's the thing. Like, I did break down the value of these in a video, which I'll link in the description box if you want to see it. Essentially, the conclusion was that this is not great value for money in terms of cost per mil, but it is very good if you wanted to sample a range. If you buy this pack, the equivalent volume, if you were to get it in full size, you're pretty much like losing out like 12 Australian dollars buying this pack, but it saves you from having to buy multiples and trying different things. So I liked it because I was curious about this range, but after having this set, I'm like, I'm not that curious anymore. They're pretty, but they're not, for me anyway, they're not amazing. And yeah, I'm still curious about that matte one, but whatever. In this pack as well, there are two sort of popular shades. So Virtue, which is this sort of more orangey blush, and Transcend, which is like a rose gold. Then the set exclusive limited edition shades, there's Wisdom, which is this sort of rosy pink, and Magnetize, which is this gold. Now, I have heard a few people say that these look like they are too dark for lighter skin tones. I would say that yes, probably in the future, I would love to see Rare Beauty bring out different packs for different skin tones. But I would say that this is not a dark pack just because they look fairly dark. They actually do blend out to fairly light, and including the highlighters. So I would not say that this is suitable for deeper skin. I would say it is a light to sort of slightly tanned. But this color, I think this color has been scaring people. I can demonstrate this one today. It is definitely gold, but it does blend out to being just a subtle sort of wet look champagne. So especially if you've got this over the blush, it can work very nicely on sort of lighter skin tone. So I wouldn't be scared if you do have fairer skin. So today I'm going to use Virtue, and I find that they work best with an unset cheek. So if you do have oily skin and you use sort of more mattifying bases, try to maybe put this on when your foundation's a little bit tackier or wet, because I do find that they can sort of grip and set a bit funny. Now, I have used a lot here, but in the past, it's a lot. There's going to be people that are cringing at the fact that I used 3 dots, but in the past, I've used quite a few dots, and I think it depends on your method of application. I don't know why I'm using the viewfinder as my mirror, but I actually find that I keep adding more and if I just use a small amount, it's sort of harder to blend it out. So this does actually blend out. So if this looked too dark and a bit scary for you, like, I have quite light skin and it is totally fine. I should not let this set though. What am I doing here? A little bit more. It is lifting my base a little bit because I let it go for too long, but let's work it in. Look, it is quite blendable, which is nice. So I like how these apply. These are more sort of not toned down shades, but there are much brighter, like vibrant orangey red tones and berries in this range. So, and like vibrant pinks. So if you found that going in with more, if you're a bit scared of blending cream blushes, I probably would just pick a more muted shade and you'll be fine. But definitely an unset base tends, like, I feel like where I've set my under eye and I've sort of crept in there with the blush, it is looking a little bit patchy. So you can see how dewy that is, and it does set down a little bit, but it does stay tacky throughout the day. So if you have your hair down or something, you will find that it will start to like get stuck in there, which is not my favorite thing. And for me, it just like fades off somehow throughout the day. You think that cream products should last longer than powders because powders are more inclined to like dust off, but for some reason on me this just gets eaten away and it just sort of dissipates throughout the day. But I'm going to go in with the gold shade. This is limited edition. I don't actually like limited edition golds. I feel like it's a little bit of a cop out because gold can look so similar, and like next season they might just bring out one that's slightly cooler or slightly more yellow, and it's effectively the same thing. So having a limited edition gold, it's like, is it really that special? I don't think so. Okay, and I'm just gonna blend this in with my finger. These feel a lot more oily, so the highlighter formula is a lot thinner, and it does almost feel like a gel sort of oil consistency, and it's picking up my base. Hooray! Yeah, look, I'm glad I've tried this pack because I've been curious about these products for like since they launched and since I had such rave reviews. But now that I've tried it, if someone said, do you want your money back and you can give up the pack, I'll be like, yeah, I'd actually prefer my 64 bucks back. But there's part of me that's like, I'm just glad that it's done. Like, I've tried it, it's over, I don't need to worry about it anymore. But yeah, it's pretty. I just feel like personally, on my oily skin, I can get this effect with a powder. I can. Let's be honest, I can. All right, I'm gonna go on to eyes. I'm just using my NARS primer. This is in my Project Pan. I was actually gonna film my Project Pan update today, but I feel like I think I'm ready to do it. I just feel like I'm starting to film them like at the 3-week mark. I'm not giving it a full month to have sort of a proper update. I just get a bit impatient with my update. All right, what I want to do today, there's a couple of things that I want to try. Firstly, I want to try this mascara from L'Oreal. I picked it up for 10 bucks, which is great because I think normally it's like $28 in Australia, but Priceline were having a sale. This is the one that went viral because it was obviously, what's her name? Whatever her name is on TikTok, put false lashes on, and it was like false advertising and whatnot. But I've also heard people say it's very good. So I want to try this, and to the point where I want to put it on now so we can see without eyeshadow distracting, like how much of a difference does it make. And then I want to go in with one of my new Glaminatrix cosmetics. I did a swatch video of these sort of sparkly single eyeshadows, and someone in the comments said they wanted to see me use the Canary shade, which is this like chartreuse sort of yellowy color. And I thought, sure, I want to do that as well. So I'm using this. It is new to me. This is the only thing in the video that I was sent in PR. Everything else I bought. But I want to do a green look. So I'm going to pack on some green eyeshadows and then put this over the top. But I want to start with the mascara first. Oh, maybe I'll do my brows really quickly off camera because I'm just using my brow pomade from my Project Pan. All right, let's get nice and close. Now I know there's supposed to be some technique to use this mascara. I have not looked it up. So let's just hope we can figure it out. So essentially what it is, it's like flat. So you have like just like a paddle, I suppose, with no spikes. And then you have the sides with spikes. I don't know. I think vaguely having a look at reviews back in the day, I think you're supposed to just sort of like brush through the product from that sort of like spatula side. Is that what you're supposed to do? And then you're supposed to like comb it through with the little bristles. I don't know. I don't think mascara should be that complicated. Let's try it again. I'm not going to get more product out because there's a lot on here. Spatula side, let's just put the product on the lashes. I think I've got a better technique on this eye. Getting the product on there. And then sort of turning it to the side and brushing it through a little bit. That's much better. What's happened there? What's happened there? Let's try to fix this. It's chunking up. Ugh. All right, there's definitely a learning curve with this mascara. Now there's a lot of length and volume going on, but it does look quite chunky. And it's similar to the cheeks. I was just going back and forth between them because one was looking like bigger and like more fluttery, and I'm like, oh, I've got to fix the other one, and then it's looking more chunky, and then I'm have to like, okay, I have to chunk up this one to balance it out. So this doesn't actually look too bad on camera. I think it's quite nice, and it's definitely a nice effect. I haven't touched my lower lash line yet. I will do that after I do my eyeshadow, but I quite like this effect. I even just like it on the top lash line. I feel like it looks a lot more, like I look a lot more awake. I just feel like there's a bit of a learning curve. What I'm going to use just to set the base for the sparkly eyeshadow is actually my Gemini palette. Now, the reason I'm going into this is because I mentioned it in my sort of top palettes, 5 palettes of all time. This didn't make it, but I did mention it, and it made me realize how much I should be using this more. I love this chartreuse color, and I thought this would work perfectly with that sparkly shade. So that's mainly what I want to use. I've got a fluffy brush today, and I sort of want to just go in with this chartreuse. Now, it could be a lot more vibrant if I used a lighter base, but I also don't really want it to be super vibrant. I just want it to be a little bit more muted and a little bit more sort of mustardy, and I quite like a brown. Let's just put it out there. Mainly in the crease, and I don't want to just muck up my mascara too much, but crease and half of my eyeshadow, the outer corner, half of my lid, that's it. And then I'm getting a pencil brush like this. This is just, I believe, from Refa, and I'm just putting it on my lower lash line. I like to do this because I feel like it suits my eye shape, especially when I put mascara on the lower lash line. If I was just doing the mascara on the top lash line, I would probably leave this blank. But I do want to see how this mascara works on the bottom lash line too, because I feel like I'm going to poke myself in the eye. All right, so I'm just going in with the Glaminatrix Canary eyeshadow, and I'm just taking a little bit on my finger. So I'm just going to tap it on and then blend it in with a brush. Being so sparkly, these, oh, it's very sparkly and very vibrant. These can have a bit of glitter fallout. So the less sort of blending and less sort of sweeping you do, the more well-behaved it's going to be. Also, with having the sort of dewy cheeks, I just foresee that this is going to just stick and go everywhere. So tapping it on with your finger is a nice way to do it. And then I've just got a sort of flat brush, and I'm just going to sort of do exactly what I was telling you not to do, but sort of try to blend it a little bit, because I just want it to be like a twinkle rather than a really metallic sort of finish. I was hoping with the matte underneath and the sort of semi-set base, it wasn't going to be too bold, but when you take a bold eyeshadow, bold's gonna be bold. Picking up a tiny bit on my brush just to sort of tap on there, just to add a little brightness. Pretty. So you can see that if you do sort of tap it on, it gives it more of a twinkly effect, whereas you sort of put it on with your finger, or even apply it over a glitter glue, or probably something like a wet brush or something, you're going to get a much more sort of metallic foiled effect. I might mix a little bit more of the matte in there because I don't want it to be so like spotlight. Yeah, I sort of like that mixed effect. It's like gives Mochi that sort of twinkly effect. Oh, it's very pretty. Oh, it's like, oh, I kind of want to put more on here. It just makes it like this twinkly, swampy chartreuse, which I dig. All right, I'm going to attempt the mascara on my lower lash line, but I'm going to wipe off some excess. All right, no wonder why I was having issues with sort of clumpiness. Just have a look. That is the excess from one dip. Do you see it all in there? I don't know if you can properly, but there's a lot. All right, let's try it. I'm just going to try to use the spiky part, not the spatula. Good. So far, so good. All right, on to lips. Now I'm going to show you another Christmas pack that I picked up. This is by Lanolips, and it is a pack with the glazed donut, like limited edition scent, and also the raspberry shortcake. So I'm going to apply one of these, but I thought to not be a clear balm, which is what it is, I'm just going to put a lip liner on. This is the Nabla Close-Up Lip Shaper in the shade Nude number 2. Now, I never use lip pencils, and I've got a collection of them and I just don't use them. And I thought I've got to start using them. So this is a really beautiful shade. It's very creamy. It's almost got like a grayish tone to it, which I quite like. So that's not new to me. It's just that I don't use it. So I thought I'll try to use it. This one does smell like raspberries. Almost like Allen's Red Frogs. Like that, it is nice. But I don't know why, but I think this glazed donut one is just a little bit more yummy. And this one does have a very caramelly, yeah, there's a caramel scent to it, but it's definitely like sugary, donutty. It smells like a Krispy Kreme sort of original one. So I'm just going to use a bit of that. So it's got a squeezy tube. I'm just going to put it on. That looks horrible. I don't like that. Too bold. All right, I've just blotted that down because I didn't like, it looked too heavy. Like the color was a bit jarring. I think my face and my eyes, I think the foundation's a little bit pink tone for me, which is, it matches my neck quite well, but it sort of clashes with the warmth going on and that sort of color. So I'm going to try the lip balm again, just with a hint of color on my lips. I think that's a lot better. For me, really glossy just looks better when it's like very sheer and very nude. All right, so what do I think about these products? Firstly, I think the safe bets for me in terms of things that I'm going to use and consistently use, I would say this duo pack with the limited edition scents from Lanolips. Very nice. The pack was less than in Australia, a Laneige lip sleeping mask. So if you like this formula and you like sweet or sort of fruity, foodie kind of scents, I like this. I'm gonna, I'm gonna have it next to my bed. I'm gonna have one in my handbag. I'm gonna keep using them. I don't know how I feel about this foundation. It was very, very, very sheer. But for me, foundation, it's more about the longevity, like how is it gonna wear? So over the next probably few days, I might try this out and give an update on TikTok because I don't know, but I got it at half price and I'm happy to try it. So the idea of it sounds really good, but we'll see. Mascara, I think this can give a really pretty effect. I think there's a huge learning curve in terms of application. And I almost think that the way the application is described, how you're going to use it, like let's read. Oh, I'm just looking. This is $32 in Australia. I got it for $10, which is excellent. Do I buy another one? Okay, so the description is lift and load your lashes using the front hook bristles, applying from root to tip. Step 2, use the side hook comb to separate your lashes for added volume and length. I don't know what the hell that means. Anyway, I'm going to figure out which way works best for me. I think that it does give a very pretty lifted effect. Like it does some nice things. It just can go into clumpy territory very quickly. So I think this has promise. I think if used correctly and nicely, I think it could be good, but I don't feel like the application is intuitive. I don't even think it's intuitive when you read about the hooks and the combs. Where is a hook? When it comes to this product, I am not in love with it. I'm glad I tried it. I'm glad I have minis because they're going to be easier to pan, but I don't think this pack is going to make me buy a big size. I was just thinking, like, the way this wears on me and how it breaks down my makeup, it's the type of cheek product that I would wear when I'm going out to like a dinner or going out to a thing for like 2 hours. But even then, it risks chunking up and sort of breaking down my makeup. So it could either look glowy and beautiful for a couple of hours, or it could start turning really bad. So for me and my skin, I don't love this product. I don't personally get the hype, but I understand how people with the right skin type would love this. It's just unfortunately not me, but it is pretty. And if you are as light-skinned as I am and you're worried that this pack is going to be too dark, it's not. Like, this is very built up. You can sheer it down. You can even mix it with a bit of your base if you want to tone it down a little bit more, but I don't actually think it is very dark. It's just looks quite bold in the bottles because it does sheer out quite a lot. Now with the eyeshadows, I really like these sparkly eyeshadows from Glaminatrix. I'm going to say my favorite ones, if you've seen my review, which I'll link down below, or the swatch video and semi-demo. I've worn these a bunch of times since doing that. That was actually filmed probably about 2 weeks ago. My favorite ones are the sort of standard nude ones. I find them so much easier to incorporate into my daily life than sort of the colorful ones. And this is quite a light color, like it's quite bright. So it's very pretty as like a twinkly effect over a darker shade, but on its own, it's a little bit sort of light for me personally. I quite like the brown ones that come in this range. I have sort of what this eye look has made me do is fall in love again with this shade Mochi. And if I was to deepen it up, I'd use that one there, which is Fire OG. Because I love this chartreuse murky color, and bringing it out, I think I'm more inspired by this than this one at the moment. Not because this is bad, just because I really love this color, and it's made me realize, oh, use it more. Use it more, Kat. Use it more. Even though it like at the moment it's clashing with my skin tone, I still like the clash. I think it's good. So if you've tried any of these products, let me know what you think about them, and I will list all the products I used in the description box down below, and any links to any reviews or anything that I've discussed. So I'll see you all on the next one, and a big thank you to my channel members for supporting my channel. Mwah! You're beautiful, and have a great day. Bye.